Italian Football Podcast.
We'll see if the new coach is going to be Thiago Motta, Nima. And I mean, he has now confirmed Champions League football for Bologna after they win at Napoli, and then the Atalanta result coupled with that means that Bologna are playing in the Champions League. And first of all, we just have to say congratulations to Bologna and to Thiago Motta. What an incredible achievement from Bologna. You know, people forget that actually they've won Serie A. Like, I think they're one of the in terms of the list of champions in Serie A, they're actually quite high up the list. But it's been a long time, 60 years since they last won the Scudetto, and they haven't been a big team like in modern times. But they are a big team in Italian football, so we shouldn't probably be wrong to describe them as like a provincial team or minnows. It's probably the wrong description, but in modern times, I mean, it's
I think they're on the same level as Fiorentina. Like, they're on the same level, like, size-wise. Like, but they're a big team historically, but if you look at who they are, they're just under the Inter, Milan, Juve, Napoli, Roma, Lazio in terms of fan size and following. They're there with Fiorentina and, you know, those sides. Yeah. But look, they've done absolutely fantastic. There's no doubt about that. It's a
miracle, really. Let's call it what it is. Yeah. It's a miracle to from where they come from.
I think a lot of people need to understand that he's not conceded very much. He's only conceded 27 goals all season. So if you're expecting to see Pep Guardiola take over at Juve, you're going to be mightily disappointed. He is about risk minimization. But the difference is that he, in the attacking phase, he's got much more to offer than Allegri right now. There's no doubt about that.
Well, the difference is that Motta, Bologna are, I think, second in Serie A for possession, if I'm not mistaken. They were the last time I looked a few weeks ago. I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure that that's the case. And, you know, so they keep the ball, they dominate the game, they dominate territory, and they've got fantastic, you know, patterns of play to build their way. And that's one thing that winds me up the most about Allegri is they literally, there's just no build up. They cannot, if you give them the ball from the back, they cannot build their way up the pitch at all. It's just horrendous.
Yeah, but we also have to acknowledge, that for big chances missed in the Serie A, Juve are top of that. They've missed 59 big chances, followed closely by Napoli at 57. So there is that aspect that both of these teams, you know, have created but missed. And that is also, you know, that's something we should, you know.
Well, there's lots of underlying metrics we can look at. I did one a few weeks ago, which I can't remember when it was, about 3 weeks ago, where I went through a whole load of them, and that kind of told the story about how horrific Juventus' attacking is. So, but anyway, listen, we're talking about Bologna now, and what Motta has done is absolutely astonishing. And he hasn't played like a provincial coach either. Hasn't played like a team that are batting above its weight. They've played like a big team. They wanted to take control of the game. They wanted to dominate the game. And they play good football. They keep the ball. And their record against the big teams this season is absolutely insane. You know, they proved to be a big team. They've now Napoli. They won this game, deservedly won this game, winning a draw against Napoli. They drew against Juventus. They beat Roma and Lazio, both those two teams home and away. Atalanta as well. Drew and lost against Milan. That loss was the first game of the season. They drew and lost against Inter, but they beat Inter in the Coppa Italia. You know, and so, I mean, it's an incredible achievement. They shouldn't be. I mean, I said at the start of the season, I got laughed out by everyone, that I said that Bologna could qualify for Europe this season. I'm not going to sit here and say I thought they'd qualified for Champions League. I didn't. But they
were thereabouts.
To qualify for European competition was laughed off by the vast majority of people in Italian football fans. Because I remember I said it. I called it on this show. I said I think that Bologna have got a chance to qualify for Europe at the start of the season. That was my prediction, and that was seen as a wild call. That was seen as a hot take and mad. And most people were like, they're not going to qualify for Europe. And now here they are. They haven't just qualified for Europe. They've qualified for the Champions League. They've done it with 2 games to spare. And they've done it deservedly. And they're now in 3rd place. And they're probably going to finish 3rd as well. You know, I mean, it's unbelievable what he's done. I mean, he's overachieved so massively. And the development of players as well this season. I mean, Zirkzee is his masterpiece. But there's Calafiori. He maximizes and develops players, and that's something that, if he goes to Juventus, is going to be so important for their project as well.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. And I think it's the right move to do that, and for him to move away. Although I do feel before Bologna, because them going to the Champions League is going to be.
Well, that's the question.
I wonder who takes over.
How well can Bologna do in the Champions League next season?
It's way too soon to say, but we need to know who the coach is going to be. We need to know if Calafiori and Zirkzee stay. We need to, if all three of them leave, they'll struggle to make, unless they find jewels, which Sartori can do. He is that good. But unless he does find little jewels and they can get the best out of the players they've got in the squad who they believe in, who've not done well, like Jesper Karlsson, then they'll have to bank on that. But it's going to be difficult. But I think it's way too soon to see anything. But they do have some interesting players.
I can't pretend, Nima, that I'm not worried for them, because listen, they're going to lose Motta. They're probably going to lose Zirkzee and Calafiori. I mean, they have no control over Zirkzee because of his, there's the release clause for Bayern, which might not be reactivated, or Bayern could, and they could sell him on. Who knows? But
then they get 40 million, so they're guaranteed 45 million, which is pretty good given that.
Of course. But they're going to lose all the pillars of their team. They're going to lose Motta, their manager, who is the most important of all. He's masterminded this. Zirkzee, they're going to lose. They're going to lose Calafiori, and they're without Ferguson's done his ACL and is out until 2025. We're talking about their three best players and their manager. Even if you've got money to spend, and Sartori is a genius in the transfer market, and I'm sure he will do some good work. But we're talking Champions League here. We're talking about a team that already, let's be honest, there's no way this team is equipped to play twice a week. Even with the current squad, there's no way they're equipped to play twice a week. And then they're going to have to replace all their best players and their coach, and after that, then try and build up a squad that's deep enough for the Champions League. I think it's going to be very, very hard for them next season. Very, very hard. Which is a shame. But listen, I don't
really... There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. I think, we should enjoy what they've done, because it is amazing. We don't get beautiful stories like this, and we should appreciate this beautiful story, really, and how amazing it is. Next season it's going to be hard.
I'm really interested to see who takes over after Thiago Motta. I mean, I'm looking at Vincenzo Italiano. If now that Stefano Pioli to Napoli is picking up steam, and we're looking at Conte going to either Milan or Juve, it's all kind of crystallizing. De Rossi staying at Roma, Tudor's doing a great job at Lazio. It's all kind of crystallizing itself, isn't it? And I'm thinking, when the dust settles, I think, and if Vincenzo Italiano is able to actually pull off something against Olympiacos, which he should be able to do, and win that trophy, that European trophy, given the profile that Bologna have, as I've been saying for a couple of months, I thought Italiano should have gone to Bologna 3 years ago when they appointed Mihajlovic instead, because I think that's the right place for him to be at, in terms of also how good he is with improving youngsters. That makes more sense to me. Italiano at Bologna makes more sense to me than it does. And also, it's a good little peak in the Champions League, because no one expects him to do anything in the Champions League with Bologna. But if this is the thing: if you have a chance to play in the Champions League, usually when you're with one of the big ones, they expect you to go through, right? With Bologna, no one is expecting Bologna to go through. So it's kind of, he's got everything to gain by playing in the Champions League.
I think Italiano could be a good fit, because he's also good at kind of developing players for his style, even if they don't necessarily fit. So he, with Sartori working there, he can probably get him the kind of players that will work for his system. It's going to be interesting to see how Bologna do. It's going to be a great story. It's their first time in the European Cup since 1964-65. They were knocked out in the preliminary round that year by Anderlecht. Do you know what the score was in that game, Nima?
Can't remember. No, I've read about it, but no.
Okay, they lost that game. They lost that game. They lost that game on a coin toss.
Oh, wasn't that the season when they won the Scudetto on a coin toss as well? Like the following season, it was something crazy like that. Because I remember reading something about
won
them
it in a
winning
playoff.
something.
I think they won it in a playoff against. Was it against Inter? It might have even been.
I think it was against Inter.
Yeah, they won the 1964 Scudetto. The Bologna did, qualified for the European Cup or former Champions League, and they I think
But there was something with a there was something about a coin toss.
The coin toss,
well,
the most famous coin toss was they beat Inter 2-0 in the playoff. Own goal from Facchetti in the 75th minute, and then Harold Nielsen, former Denmark player, scored the second goal, and that got them into the European Cup. The most famous coin toss was the Euro 1968 semi-final.
Yeah, Italy won.
Italy beating the Soviet Union on a double-sided coin.
Yeah.